It's now time for our guest. Now, Farrah Azam is an artist and entrepreneur who found her love of henna and Eastern art after exploring her creativity once she finished her studies. Then she went off to set up her own business in 2011, where she created her East meets West style and handcrafted on different sort of objects like candles and all different sorts of fabrics and even instruments. So that's pretty cool.
I think that's what she came on the show before and told us about.
Yeah,
We'll find out. But her work has attracted high-profile clients and media attention, and she will be giving away one of her colouring in books for one of you lucky viewers on Twitter. So make sure you head over to our page and answer the winning question. But until then, stay here with us and please welcome Farrah Azam.
Assalamu alaikum.
And welcome to the sofa.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about where your artistry came from.
Okay, well, I don't have like any education in art. I studied psychology and criminology at university, but I got married straight after university and I had my first child straight away. So I was at home and I had a lot of free time. And although I've never done art, I think I've always had that creative streak, and I've always wanted a creative outlet. Like I always used to sit there doodling in class and stuff. So I decided to do a henna course with Ash Kumar, who's like the world-leading henna artist, but he mainly teaches on the body. And although I enjoyed creating the designs, I was never really satisfied with sort of painting on the body. I wanted to do something different with henna. So I just researched a few different ways of sort of sealing them on different surfaces and preserving them. And yeah, that's basically how it started. And I started working on canvases and candles, and then I sort of moved on to things like instruments, and yeah.
Wow. What kind of instruments did you?
I've painted on guitars before. I've painted on Moroccan drums.
I think we've got a picture of your guitar. If in just a moment we've got one, so we'll have a look at that. There you go.
Look
wow,
at that.
mashallah.
Wow.
The thing about henna is so intricate. You were saying earlier, weren't you? What else have you got on it? You've got the henna and...
So it's not actually henna, so the design is inspired by henna, but the actual product that I've used to paint it, the medium, is acrylic paint, which I put inside a cone, which a henna cone goes inside, so you have that sort of 3D effect. That's why you've got that 3D effect, because it's put into a cone. Yeah. And then I seal it a few times, and then I embellish it with different rhinestones, sometimes Swarovski crystals.
Ooh. Oh, wow, mashallah, making it a bit more expensive and exclusive. Yeah. I think we've got another picture. You can talk us through this. What's this? What are we looking at here?
Okay, so these are actually painted. The main design is done with actual henna, organic henna, and then it's filled in with different coloured acrylic paints. And they're candles, they're pillar candles, and yeah, they're very popular for wedding season.
Yeah, and they're beautiful.
Those kinds of candles, because they're so beautifully designed. Do people actually use them, or are they just for like sort of decorative purposes?
You can use them because the things that I paint with are non-toxic, non-flammable, unless they've got rhinestones on them. Not all the pieces do have rhinestones, but mainly, yeah, they're not really for. People prefer to just to keep them.
Keep them decorative.
Yeah, exactly. Decorative.
Do you have any candles like that?
No, I don't. But I do love henna. I love how pretty it looks and makes my hand look so feminine.
And now with the henna that comes with colours, different. Is it the henna that's
It's not henna.
Colours, or?
I think it's body paint.
Oh, okay. And they mix it, because when I got married, I had henna, obviously being Arab roots. So we have the I think it's Mendi in Hindi. Yeah. See, I know a little bit. And they put glitter.
On the top?
They sprinkle glitter on it, so you're like, you know...
shimmering away.
Yeah, it's quite
my
fun.
friend is Palestinian, and I did white. It wasn't actually henna, it was like a different type of... It was like a glitter, like a white glitter. I did that on her for her wedding, but that was a one-off because I don't paint on body. It was just because she was my friend.
Quite adamant it's not...
Yeah.
In terms of, like, henna, I mean, for you, it's more about the design than the henna or the... I don't know... The natural, the brown stuff that we
it's what's always drawn me to henna is just the patterns, to be honest. When I was younger, growing up, you know, it's a big part of our festivities, but I was never really interested in having it on my body. I think I just didn't like the process of it fading away.
Yeah.
It goes like sort of orange. So I like the designs, but I was never one to sort of have it on me growing up.
Do you know, I know a trick. Well, it's an Arabic thing. I don't know if it's in the Asian culture as well, but they say if you put lemon juice on it, it will stay for longer.
Yeah.
So I always avoided lemon when I had it.
So you didn't really like henna either?
I don't mind it when it's on, but like you, I'm not a fan when it starts fading. I don't know what our viewers think. If what do you think about henna? Let us know by tweeting us. Yeah.
I do love henna, and you know we're talking about social media. I do love like going on social media to check out other people's sort of henna designs and sort of getting inspiration from them. Which reminds us, of course, on Twitter, you can win a very special prize.
Yes,
we haven't really spoken about the book just yet because we've got lots of time.
We do.
But you can go on Twitter and there is a question for you, right?
Yeah.
And when you go on Twitter, you find out what the question is by going to Islam channel, and you'll see the question and you reply back to the question with the hashtag LTL, and
you could win.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the first one, or is it going to be? Okay. Well, let's get back to Farrah. And Farrah, tell us about the book. We can see the book there on the table. Tell us a little bit about this book.
So the designs are very much inspired by henna, but they're also inspired by a lot of Turkish Iznik art, which it's like a arabesque patterns with Chinese elements. And I'm very much inspired by the work of William Morris in this book, and he's a British artist, wallpaper designer. Yeah. And a lot of the work is inspired by his designs. I think there's a lot of East meets West designs in there.
Tell us a little bit more about East meets West, because why was that an inspiration? Why was that important for you? Because
I'm a Pakistani, but I'm British, so it's almost a reflection of who I am coming through in my work, because I'm very much Pakistani and I love my culture, but then I'm also very much British. So I'm basically a fusion too.
And you've made the book. I love that Iznik. I've not heard that before.
It's, you know, the tiles that you get in, like, I don't know if you've ever been to Istanbul. And you know, like around all the mosques, you get those beautiful sort of like bluey green, and the tile designs. That's basically Iznik art.
Sure. We'll have a gander for the book and actually see some.
I have to ask you, so when you put together these patterns, do you physically draw them out yourself?
They're all hand-drawn, and they're all, like, in their rawest form. Like, I haven't manipulated them or copied and pasted.
So when you are drawing them out, I don't know, this is I have to...
Go on, no.
I have to ask you this.
Yeah.
When you draw them out, do you imagine the colours that should be in the certain areas, or... You know, do you actually ever colour in your own art?
Oh yeah, definitely. I do colour them in, but I don't get that much time. But I did the Muslim lifestyle show recently, and I wanted to sort of sell my books there, so I coloured a lot of them in to mount them and frame them to show them to customers as an example of what you can do with them, because it's not just a colouring book. It's actually prints of my original artwork, so they have perforated pages which you can then remove and frame, so you can get 30 gifts out of that. Yeah, you can give them away as gifts. You can do so much more with it.
So with what actually is a colouring book, but really and truly it's more than just a colouring book.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's basically 30 prints of my original artwork.
We've got a picture, I think, of the lifestyle show where you had the of your drawings, I should say, of
something you sold. Was it?
Yeah,
was it something?
Let's have a look, and then you can talk us through it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is actually a piece which I did for a customer. It was a bespoke piece for her child's bedroom. However, there is a design which is very similar to that in my colouring book, and it's inspired by Russian buildings.
Yeah, it has got that feel to it, but I like the fact that you've got such diverse inspirations going on.
I think before my work was very much sort of, it looked very much like henna patterns, but I've sort of moved away from that now. Like, that's always going to be my main, inspiration, but I have brought a lot more into it, and the more I've sort of travelled and, seen new amazing types of art, I've sort of brought that in. I mean, I've experienced so much more, and I think my work it's basically a reflection of who I am and my experiences. So the more I experience in life, the more creative I become.
I'm interested to find out about your take on the whole adult with colouring in, and obviously with your book creation. But we were going to talk about the psychology with adults and art. Have you delved into that at all? Do you know much about it?
I have
enlighten
studied
us.
psychology,
Yeah.
but I haven't really done any art therapy. But I do know that colouring, the reason there's such a huge craze for it right now for adults, is because it is very therapeutic. It de-stresses you, it increases awareness. And like for me personally, whenever I've got a 6-year-old son, and whenever he's sitting there colouring, I'm always finding myself sitting there colouring in with him. And I do find that I'm fully focused. I'm not thinking about anything else in that moment, and I do find it very therapeutic.
Wow, that's good.
That's
When my
pretty
daughter's
needed.
colouring in, I'm cleaning the house or getting on with things that I can do while she's busy.
It's quite nice though, because it is sort of bringing, well, in Nellie's parents' case,
Yeah.
bringing
bonding.
Yeah, that bonding
Yeah,
session.
I mean, I don't get too much time for it, but I
Yeah.
do, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
I am sitting there colouring with him, and yeah, I think it's a great stress relief.
Do you sit and colour the same picture, or does he do his stuff and you do yours? Or does it vary?
Yeah, it varies. Yeah.
Mashallah.
Yes, in this day and age, because we're so we've got technology everywhere, it's quite nice to sort of put the phone away and just pick up a pen.
Yeah.
And that's quite unusual in this day and age.
It is very much. So you've talked about the psychology. So, when you put together this artwork, are you thinking about adults, or are you thinking about children, adults? Are you just thinking about everyone, or?
Well, when I created this book, I was thinking mainly about adults,
Yeah.
but when I finished the product, I found that a lot of youngsters were really enjoying it, and my son, who's 6 years old, he's coloured in like half the book, and he really enjoys it. And when his friends come over, I always take sort of like a page out, and that's like one of the activities that I give them to do, and they really enjoy it because it takes them quite a while. And I found that when I did the Muslim lifestyle show, I had a lot of loose pages from my book, and a lot of the kids were really enjoying it. So then I started sort of advertising it more for all ages, because I found that it was appealing to all ages.
See, when I'm colouring in art, because we will be having a go at one of your lovely designs, I get quite, what's the word? Everything needs to be the right sort of colour. Not necessarily a perfectionist, but when it comes to this sort of design, if it's symmetrical, it needs to be symmetrical. So I couldn't put a blue here and then the red opposite. It needs to be sort of symmetrical. And I think we have got some more pictures of your work, and I was wondering whether maybe if that's the kind of stuff we're going to be having a go at. Let's have a look, see. So wow, that's quite intricate.
Please tell me we're not having a go at that.
Well, we do have a cone and we do have a canvas. I will get you to attempt something similar.
wow.
Okay, I'll take it.
Well, I think you both should,
We
and I
we
think
should
I should judge.
Okay.
I should judge you.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, Lily, just
dear.
put it out there now. Just because I like to do it, it doesn't mean that I'm any good. Like, I bet you Hanan
You
is
might
pretty
surprise
impressive.
yourself. You might surprise yourself.
Right, we have another picture. Let's just move on. We have another picture. That's it. Give me a heart attack.
Wow.
Okay, talk us through this one.
Okay, so that's a mandala design. I don't like symmetry, to be completely honest. I can't deal with symmetry. I don't like using compasses or anything like that. I like my designs to be very organic. But this one is somewhat symmetrical, although it's all freehand.
So the circles and everything you did free
Well,
hand?
the initial larger circle, that I didn't. I drew around a bowl.
Okay.
But the rest of it, yeah, I did that all freehand. So that was it's inspired by mandala designs. And yeah, I just sort of did the circle and then I just worked my way in. And it is somewhat symmetrical, but if you look at it closely, it's not actually symmetrical.
When you're designing it, do you have the idea in your head and think, OK, that's what it's going to look like? Or do you start drawing and then it just sort of evolves?
I have some sort of idea.
OK.
Sometimes it evolves. Sometimes I find that I'm not happy with it, or I think there's too much empty space, and then I might start working on different edges and stuff, and I'll just sort of build up on it. But I have like a rough idea of what I want to start off with.
I have to tell you that when I was at school and I did art, I was very lucky that I had an art teacher who allowed me to go to the library. I don't know, not very good. Children, you must do your art. I was very lucky that the teacher allowed me to go, because I really just wasn't a fan of art.
Okay.
One day went into class and there was a supply teacher, because our art teacher didn't turn up. Did she allow me to leave to the library? No. And we had to draw a set of keys or whatever we could find in our pockets. And I drew these keys. And then what did the school do with this
Put it
part?
up.
put it up in the main hall.
Mashallah.
And then from then, do you think my art teacher allowed me to escape to
Nope.
the
That
library?
means you had a hidden talent.
You must be
it means that
natural.
They were
Yeah, she's just
trying
natural.
to, you know.
So there's something psychologically telling you you're not good at art, but actually you're very good at art. And you should be proud of it, and we're going to be seeing some later
I
on.
used to run away from maths, but that's because I was bad at maths.
She ran away when she was good at it. Like, I don't get.
We'll see when we get to colouring in. But why did you only kind of find this art, you said, after you got married and having a child? Because you said you studied criminology and psychology. So why did you not pursue that kind of route?
Because, well, I wanted to do psychotherapy, and it requires quite a few years of training. And because I had a baby straight away, obviously had to be at home. So I was getting quite bored in my free time, you know, when he was napping and stuff. I needed something to do. And although I love being a mum, of course, but I found everything was just very repetitive, and I needed a bit of a change and a creative outlet, which is why I started looking into different courses.
Yeah.
But I wasn't finding anything that I enjoyed. But I really enjoyed drawing the henna patterns. I really did.
It's quite an inspiration for other sort of mothers out there as well, in terms of starting a business from something that they've got a passion about. And do you find that a lot of sort of people in your similar situation nowadays, they've got this as an option, as in to find their own avenue, if you will?
Yeah, definitely. And it's not just this, there's so many things you can do now from home, and it just requires really hard work and determination and passion, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, did it take, I mean, because you've kind of made this into a career.
Yeah.
Was that a difficult step? Well, not planned, because it sounds like it wasn't.
Yeah.
You just kind of had to do, you know, when you get to being a mother, you just get to that point. You need to do something other than just
changing nappies.
Just obviously because I've been there. But you know, going from being a mum and kind of, you know, just changing nappies to making this a career path, how did you find that?
It was something that just happened. It was just, I began it as a hobby, as I mentioned, and one of my friends sort of encouraged me to put it out on social media. So I put a couple of pieces very reluctantly because I wasn't very confident, and I got quite good feedback. And I did start this quite a while ago, so it was, you know, it wasn't very heard of then. And I got quite good feedback, and I got a couple of orders, and that just sort of encouraged me to just sort of keep going, and my social media following increased.
I love that. That's so inspirational.
That
Very
really is,
inspirational, especially to any of our viewers who are, you know, finding themselves really kind of bored, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she's got some wonderful artwork for us. Now, you're going to have a go at colouring some, aren't you?
I am.
So
we were talking about this during the break, you know, because I don't want to really draw on a canvas and be laughed at.
So I'll draw on the canvas and I'll have a go at that. Farrah, if you just show us this piece right at the top here.
Okay, so this is one of my very easy designs in my colouring book. And this is basically a heart, and it's just sort of filled in with vegetal patterns, floral vegetal designs.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
show
colour
our
it
audience what it is you're going to have a go at.
I'm going to be having a go at this one. If you can see this, can you see this? Can I see it? Yeah. This is the one I'm having a go at. So I'm going to put a lot of red in there.
Because it's a heart.
Because it looks like it's a heart. What are you going to make Ruqayyah do? Can you make it really, really difficult for her, please?
I think that, well, this is going to be a lot more difficult than what you're doing anyway, because it's a cone, and you're just working with pens.
Okay.
Can I work with pens?
No, I think you should work with a cone.
I'll have a go.
I think what you should do is, my go-to design is usually like a nice floral pattern. So why don't you attempt like a couple of flowers and sort of maybe join them up together.
Okay.
And this is a metallic blue acrylic.
Before we start, how do I hold on these cones?
Okay, so
I see people holding it, and it's so easy.
I hold it like that. Like that.
I feel like we're in a talent contest.
Here you go.
So how do I hold it?
Okay, so I hold it like this, and then I just use the middle of my index finger and the middle of my thumb to add the pressure.
Okay, so let's have a go.
There's so much
So
here. I'm not even going to get like a third of this done.
Okay, so
for the smaller detail, you can use the smaller nibbed pens.
All right, talk us through a little bit of, like, you know, what you're expecting here.
I wasn't expecting that.
When it comes to colouring, I don't like to stick to just 2 or 3 colours. I like to go a bit crazy. I think the more colours you add, the nicer it looks.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't
agree.
I think, like, because it's a heart, typically you'd want to go for red and pink.
Yeah.
But the heart has leaves inside it. It's an abstract heart.
Okay.
So
Do my leaves have to be green? Can I have, like...
They don't have to, no. You can make them blue or...
another
like,
colour for my leaves.
Yeah, you can use.
I kind of messed up. So
Okay, start again. It's fine.
I did a blob, so I just made it into a circle.
No, that's fine.
What are you actually going to attempt to draw?
I'm going to draw a
Rukia?
flower.
Are you are going to do
Don't
a
put
flower?
as much pressure.
But,
I think you're
yeah,
putting too much pressure
Maybe
on
I
the
didn't
cone.
know how to hold this. So,
What is the future for you? I mean, you're doing a very good job of teaching us here. So you know, look, can we give you an idea to open a school?
I've got a training academy.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
you already got it, mashallah.
Yeah.
See, your teaching methods are very, you're kind of, a bit dominant, a bit like the supply teacher I had. I'm a bit scared.
No, don't say that.
No, I'm joking.
I'm attempting my flower. So far, what would you make of it?
It's good. I
Yeah?
like it, yeah.
I'm not so good at putting the pressure on.
No, the pressure's fine. I think in the middle you went a bit,
And it sort of
It was a
splurged
bit
everywhere.
of a blob, but
of course, it was part of the whole design and stuff
Yes,
like that.
of course.
So
Just
tell us more about
improvise.
the training academy.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the weekends I run a training academy. I think I set it up about 2 years ago because a lot of people were messaging me and saying, look, there isn't anything out there like this. You know, you have henna courses, but you don't have courses like this. So I thought about it for a little while, and yeah, I set up my training academy. I've got an office in East London, and I teach from there.
That's amazing.
And yeah, I get fully booked quite fast.
Is it only like aimed at adults, or is it aimed at kind of everyone as well?
The youngest student I've had is, I think she was 13, but the majority of my students are adults, yeah.
And what kind of stuff do they learn?
They learn how to...
It's really rude. We're not even looking at you. Sorry.
So we're listening.
No,
of
it's
course.
fine. You need to concentrate.
Yeah, we're trying to.
I sort of teach them how to construct like a henna-inspired design, and just sort of how to find inspiration, because I think that's very important. I think we don't want our designs to always be repetitive.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be able to find new, this is how my art has sort of evolved, is because I'm constantly bringing new inspiration into it. So it's mainly just to teach them how they go and find their own inspiration, and then I teach them how to apply it on different products, how to preserve it on the surface. And then on the second day, I teach them the business side of things, so how to go out there and promote yourself.
Yeah.
And how to basically,
And that's really important, isn't it?
Definitely, because I think that's what I really struggled with. Not only do I not have an art background, but I also don't have any sort of business background.
Yeah.
So I think I just had to rely on guesswork, and I made a lot of mistakes because of it. But yeah, I mean, I guess if I didn't make those mistakes, maybe I wouldn't
be where you are
exactly.
today. So, mashallah, I have to say, I'm going to stop drawing. I've put some red in there. So,
well, you've stayed in the lines, which is amazing, because it's not easy.
I need to ask you. Okay, so mashallah, you're gorgeous.
Thank you very
much. You're a
much.
mother. You're a wife. You're an entrepreneur. You teach, and mashallah, you do so much. So, any advice to other young mums, other just people who kind of want to get into art, maybe start their own business? What advice do you give them? Because you are an inspiration to everyone, even to us.
To us, you've inspired us.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, the first thing I would really say is that don't focus on the business side of it. Because I think the reason why I got where I have got is because I saw it as a hobby.
Yeah.
And so I was very passionate about it. I wasn't under any pressure to make a certain amount every month. It was just literally a hobby.
What you enjoyed.
Exactly, what I enjoyed. And because of that passion, it just sort of grew into a business. But I think if I was focusing on making quick money, I don't really think I would have got anywhere.
Passion is the key. How do people get a hold of you? Because, I'm sure...
The training school, the designs, the colouring book.
Well, I've got my own website, bespokehenna.com. I'm on Instagram at Bespoke Henna, and Facebook, Bespoke Henna. So everything Bespoke Henna, basically. Yeah.
And of course, our wonderful viewers out there can also get a chance to win your beautiful henna design book. And what do they have to do to win this?
They have to tell us the Arabic word for henna.
on Twitter.
I need to find out what that is.
I need to find out what that is because I thought henna was the Arabic word.
Oh, there we go. We'll find out.
So there must be the sort of the real...
The Fusha.
The Fusha Arabic
version, the traditional Arabic. If not, we'll figure it out. You know, if someone gives us the best example of why henna is the actual Arabic word. But it's been lovely having you here. You've been such an inspiration to us, to our viewers, I'm sure.
Thank you so much.
But unfortunately, we are out of time. So a massive, massive thank you to our beautiful guest here, Farrah Azam, and of course to you watching at home.